This is the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, where it's all about getting the information you need from successful leading marketers to build and grow your digital marketing agency. Brought to you by Itamar Shafir, founder and CEO of Umbrella, the technology platform and brand that is powering thousands of marketing agencies around the country. Find him at umbrellaus.com. Now, here's your host, Kevin Pruitt.
This is the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, and my name is Kevin Pruitt. I'm honored to host this podcast for Umbrella, but we have a very special guest today. He has been working in the growth hacking field since 2017. He's a highly qualified growth hacking consultant and has dual background in marketing and IT, which allows him to develop marketing automation tools. Also serves as a fractional CMO. He helps SaaS startups get the most out of their marketing budget. He founded and currently runs a marketing agency focused on B2B SaaS, Tetras.io. Give a warm welcome to our special guest on the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, Fabian Maume. Fabian, thanks for joining us on Marketing Umbrella.
Thanks for having me.
We've had a fun chat here before we hit the record button, and we talked about the names and derivatives of names and how Americans are just not very good about pronouncing names most of the time. But man, it's good to see you. It's good to be able to reach across the interwebs and be connected virtually. But is there anything in that intro, round it out just a little bit and give people a little more foundation of who Fabian is?
Well, so as mentioned, I'm working in growth hacking, which became kind of a buzzword in the latest years, so nobody has any idea what it is about. So if I start, but what is my core expertise is actually web scraping, which is not connected to marketing. But it's basically a technique to get information from the internet, and you can use it for marketing purpose to either get information to make better decision, or you can use it for a generation for automating LinkedIn activity and this kind of thing. So this is what I've been doing for the last 5-7 years, I think. And mainly working for B2B SaaS. I was building expertise on different B2B SaaS. I actually launched my own SaaS, which was focused on Quora marketing. It was a super cool adventure that I was running for 2 years, and then we sold it as a project. And then I focus on scaling my marketing agency. Nowadays, my main consulting is actually to do fractional CMO work, because by working 7 years for in total, I think I work about 60 to 70 different SaaS. So got me
a wide range of experience.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's the perfect background to move to a fractional CMO, because it gives you this wider perspective. And you can really help prioritize which marketing actually makes sense, because I have some overview of what is working across different companies.
So my poor layman's definition of growth hacking is scale marketing at the lowest possible budget. Is that kind of in the ballpark?
Yeah, it is actually quite accurate. That it is the aim of it. I would say what's qualify growth hacking, that it's a mix between IT and marketing. So it's typically bring competency from both fields. You need the marketing understanding, as a basic, what is segmentation, targeting, positioning. But you can bring in some IT methodologies that typically will have more an agile approach than having a waterfall, quarterly budget that you will not derive from. You will usually work on iteration, as kind of thing. You will have much heavy data analytics that you usually find in the marketing field, and you will bring in automation tool web scraping and so on to be saving time. But it is still probably marketing, because you can try to automate stuff without doing any segmentation and targeting, but then what you're doing is just spamming people, and it will not yield you any results. It is still very critical, especially if you do any kind of cold outreach. Targeting is the key to success.
How do you the growth hacking field is not really all that old, but how have you seen it mature over the years? Is it more of a specialized field now than it was when it first started? It was kind of the Wild West maybe when it first started.
Yeah, Well, like I think like it was always like a specialized job. It just that around 2018 2020, like it was a buzzword for a while that everybody was speaking about hacking, and it become quite like foggy what it means, because like everybody was pretending to be growth hacker without having actually the technical skill you need to be a proper growth hacker. This problem did partially disappear because, like, nowadays the big buzzword is about artificial intelligence, so you don't have that many people pretending to be growth hacking without a growth hacker without having those skill. However, like there's still like a lot of misunderstanding about what it is about. Like I would say the most common misunderstanding is that growth hacking doesn't require any budget to be running. That it's just a magical bullet which costs him like zero time, zero budget, and just bring revenue. That's not the case. Like it is a really efficient type of marketing, but it's the marketing. You need a budget to get some risk.
Yeah, it is an interesting marketplace because it is you can find a concentrated audience.
One big advantage of Quora is it tends to be high intent source of leads, because you get people which are looking for answer on a specific question. So they are typically people which are relatively down the sales funnel and which would be really relevant leads for you to be working on.
So how did ChatGPT change Quora marketing?
So it lowers the barrier to entry. So normally if you write answer on Quora, you need to have an answer which is almost the length of a standard blog post. Like what they recommend is to have at least 500 words per answer, which is already really long. And so it was an expensive channel in terms of time if you wanted to use it properly in the past. With ChatGPT, you can basically write this much faster. So it makes much more people were able to do it. So on one side, it's less costly to be on Quora. On the other side, you have much higher competition, so your reach will be lower. One thing to know about Quora is that you have a karma system embedded. So the more answer you write and the more vote you get, the more weight your answer will be getting. So typically, if you are going to reach like having more than 200 answers, new answer will be boosted in terms of reach. So it is definitely much easier to reach this with ChatGPT, because you can just write answer faster and reach this critical mass of karma much faster.
Does Quora have a system like Reddit where there are upvotes, and does that also increase like reach and priority?
Yeah, so typically the ranking is mainly based on upvote. Like it's a bit more complex because like every upvote is weighted based on the karma of an account. So you cannot just create a set of fake account to get upvote and this kind of thing. But it is based on upvote, and there is one way you can game the system. Quora has an ad format which is called formatted answer, which allow you to use one of your answer as the ad. So it will be displayed on more places, and you can harvest votes to later on have your answer visible organically on top result.
It's no longer a hack because now that you shared it on the podcast, now everybody knows it. So that's right. You can't, it's no longer gaming the system. So now everybody knows your secret sauce, so to speak. But I love the intersection of kind of that question answer forum and marketing, to a kind of a very concentrated audience. And it sounds like, I mean, is QPop still a going application or going SaaS?
Yeah, so I saw the project like a year ago, like a bit more like in March last year, basically. But it's still running, so you can still use it for like if you want to do marketing on Quora, and I would definitely recommend you to consider it. It does that. I think the channel is not that more relevant anymore for SaaS type of businesses, but it's still relevant for like high ticket sales, like any type of consulting. One other thing I would advise you, if you're interested in like question and answer website, there is LinkedIn is trying to go basically compete with Quora. There is those so-called collaborative articles. Like you can get the list on like LinkedIn. I can maybe send you the link afterwards. That there's a set of topic from radio of topic about growth hacking, and the way LinkedIn implemented it is the question are asked by GPT, because LinkedIn is part of Microsoft, which also owns ChatGPT, so they have obviously integration with this. And they basically use ChatGPT to create questions, and for every question, you will have a set of sub-questions that give you a frame about how to answer. And it basically has people to be giving an answer which is limited in characters, quite short, like I think it's max 600 characters, something like this. So it's ready to be focused on the opinion of people. And it can help you get somebody thought leadership on LinkedIn, because if your answer get enough upvote, you can win like a badge of thought leadership for people for growth hacking or this kind of thing. So that's, and what's important is that this part of LinkedIn collaborative article is accessible without logging into LinkedIn. So it is really something which is designed by LinkedIn for SEO purposes, that they want to be ranking on this question and they want to go after Quora. So you cannot have link embedded in your answer. That's the main limitation of it. But it can be a very good tool for personal branding, definitely. So again, for consulting business, make perfect sense that you can be leveraging this to position yourself and your personal brand. And I think it will be the future when it comes to question answer and so leadership. LinkedIn collaborative article, definitely have a look at it.
I mean, LinkedIn has some of those same, restrictions, I think, when you're doing posts. But if there's, before we kind of leave the Quora discussion, if you could just talk to our audience right now, what are maybe the top 2 tips that you would give somebody to be really effective in marketing using Quora? Well, just 2 quick one-line tips.
So I would recommend just use QuickPop. There's a quick audit feature where you put 3 keywords and it tell you for our industry what is the traffic on Quora. So that will be starting point. It's going to tell you go, no go for Quora, that for some topic, for example, Quora will not be relevant. So start by this. If you have a low traffic on those keywords, forget about Quora. Second thing, if you see that there is some relevant traffic, you need to get any results on Quora, commit to at least have 20, 50 answers. So you need to have the time ready to invest for it.
Now, is the keyword search embedded in Quora?
Not by default within Quora. You will need to use a third party tool like QuickPop basically to do the keyword research.
Okay. So search the keywords and be ready to be consistent. 25 to 50 contributive articles of some kind, to that.
Exactly.
That is good. And that's kind of true in other forums, other platforms as well. I think LinkedIn probably has a very similar, strategy to that. But tell me, let's go back to growth hacking just a bit. So, I mean, it's a broad category. I think often a misunderstood category. What are some of the key buzzwords that you will hear in growth hacking, and maybe give a short definition of each of those?
Well, like lead generation will be a very common keyword. A big part of growth hacking is about generating leads, so most top of funnel. It can be even sometimes like directly like a sales approach. Everything should be cold outreach. Big part of growth hacking is going to be cold email outreach, cold LinkedIn outreach, like link automation. Automation in general would be a big part of growth hacking, so it can be on different platforms. Like, I know some people will be doing it on Twitter, Facebook. Like nowadays, those social media platforms usually have high limit in how much you can automate it, so it doesn't tend to be a good channel anymore for automation.
Definitely top of funnel.
Yeah, most of growth hacking will be top of funnel, definitely. Like there is few things you can do bottom of funnel. Like it depends how you define growth hacking, because you have always this idea that it's about mixing IT and marketing. So you have in bottom of funnel, you will find a lot of things about like email automation for your onboarding, chat support, like, you know, or having like automation for triggering pop-ups on your website based on different events and so on. And the last thing you have like the growth hacking is very data driven, and that can actually help you a lot experiment with the retention part of it. Like especially if you're working in SaaS, usually a lot of quick wins are in boosting your retention. That you don't want to be doing too much top of funnel. You need to usually boost your retention. And where growth hacking help you in this is mainly just to have very data-driven approach of usually it's really like more product-oriented type of approaches. You will look at feature of your SaaS, which feature are used, which by people, which stay for longer time, and then find way to encourage people to use those specific feature more, so they have higher chance to be sticky in your application. And like usually you come back to having like email onboarding, which encourage people to use these features, or like chat window and this kind of thing.
It's interesting. It doesn't matter how many people come in the front door if everybody goes back out the back door. It's you just become like a sales pipe, not a pipeline. So is growth hacking also involved? Is there some element of not just generating leads, but also kind of pre-qualifying them? Is there some form of pre-qualification? How do you separate the good from the bad?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of things you can be doing there. Like you will find a lot of tool like things called lead feeder, is those reverse IP tools. So like you deploy it on your website and it tell you who visiting your website in terms of companies. So it can help you recapture people who didn't convert on the website. You will know that, I don't know, somebody from G2 visited the website, kind of saying. And then you will have, once people actually become a lead, that they give you their email address or their LinkedIn profile, like any type of contact information, you will find out of tools which are for lead enrichment. So the market leader in this is Clearbyte, that you just put like email address, and it's going to give you the metadata from the company about like what is the company size, website traffic, and then you can use this information for lead scoring. Obviously, that if you know your ICP, you can prioritize your sales pipeline based on those information.
That it is it's interesting because it's sometimes I think marketing is there's a lot of relational maybe even emotion around marketing, but what you're talking about is a little more analytical. It's a little more like what's the data driven metrics around the activities that you're undergoing. What's the return on ad spend, and just really drilling down on, hey, it's going to take a quantity, but we want to make sure that we're scraping the best leads out of that that pool of people that you're aiming for. But as we're kind of heading into the final third here of the chat, I really want you to kind of drill down on just email marketing as a whole. Let's talk about email marketing. We've talked kind of around it a little bit. We've kind of touched on it in under the guise of Quora, under the guise of growth hacking, but let's really get into your expertise here and the things that you've learned that you think would be really relevant to our audience. So what are some key tips around email marketing that you think would really help, whether it's an agency owner or whether it's just somebody working in the marketing field that might be listening to this? What are some key learnings that you've had over the years?
So first thing to understand is that you have two big parts of email marketing. You have cold outreach, where you will try to contact people who don't know about you, and you have everything which is transactional email, like subscription based, that people already interacted with you. Like it can be they download an ebook or they sign up for your product, and the rules about this are going to be different. It's much easier to work on the second part. If people sign up for you. First of all, like you have a less gray area in terms of legality to be sending them follow-up email on this kind of thing. And like typically you can do a lot of work about them. Definitely recommend you to be always trying to use those lead enrichment tool like Clearbot to get metadata about what your lead are to segment your database. Segmentation and targeting is key when it comes to email marketing. You never want to send an email to your entire subscriber base. Like even if it's a small database, like you just have 1,000 people, it will save you a lot of budget to always segment your audience. If you try to email everybody, you will start having issue with deliverability really quickly because like as a email service provider, like ESP in short, are monitoring if you are sending like 1,000 emails from the same IP and this kind of thing. And if nobody is opening it, they will
block it,
lower your deliverability rate. So there is few things you need to do to maintain your deliverability. First one is regularly check if the email address are still valid. If you work in B2B, especially, people are changing companies, so their email address are going to die. So definitely every 3 or 6 months, check validity of your email address. You can be using it to like email verify for this or like zero bounds. Like you just put your database, it tell you which one is not active anymore. Second thing, every time you make a campaign, you want to really segment your database and usually want to send a pre-campaign based on your most engaged leads. The idea with this is if you send this pre-campaign, your most engaged leads are more likely to open it, click on the link. So it will boost the deliverability of your next campaign, which is for your more average leads and less engaged leads. So, but it may need to have a right documented database to know which are your engaged leads, or like at least know what is your ICP who are most likely to be receptive to your messaging and so on. So that's the main tips for the part about emailing when you have already the email address. When it comes to cold outreach, targeting is even more important because you are going to contact somebody who never heard about you. So you need to be sure he's going to be interested in your product. And you need to, in the opening of your email, justify why you are contacting this person specifically. So it's required to have a well-defined ICP to know exactly who is your audience. And in top of this, I recommend nowadays to try work with intent data, because with ICP, you will have usually segmentation based on job title, firmographic data, like what is the service company and so on. It's tend not to be working that well anymore in 2024. But now you need really to have some kind of intent data, so it can be, for example, monitoring, job posting. So if you are selling lead gen services, monitor job posting for SDR position. If a company is hiring SDR, you know they need lead generation services. And it gives you a signal to say, okay, those companies are relevant. And it also gives you an excuse to be contacting them in your copy and say, hey, I saw you were posting job for SDR. You need help with lead generation, like for example, database building and so on. So this is a key. Have a good targeting, preferably if you can have intent-based targeting, that's going to be the best. And you want to have as much data as possible of this on those leads. So you have a lot of tools you can be using to do this. Like usually you will typically be scrapping information from LinkedIn. Like Phantom Buster is a very great tool to be doing this. You can just put a profile person, you will have the information on the profile. And nowadays with ChatGPT, you can use this information to create like a customized introduction. Have a copy which mention past experience or this kind of thing. That's the thing. Third thing, really spend a lot of time on your outreach copy. You have to keep in mind that if you do some outreach, you need to catch the interest of the person either in the first message, maybe you would have a follow-up message, but typically if you don't have any response to second message, it will be really hard to close the deal because like people will just don't care about you. So really spend a lot of time thinking about your copy. ChatGPT again can help you a lot. That it can give you can put in there like your copy and ask him to give you alternatives for title for your emails, and we give you a recommendation of what to use and so on. So definitely iterate on this and always A/B test your copy. Don't send your copy to 1,000 people, like your database at once. First, run a subset of 100-200 people, see what is the response rate, what is the open rate, and iterate on it to be improving. And that iteration is also critical. Like you won't always try to be improving all the time. Last thing, which is quite important nowadays, if you do any type of core outreach, is to have some email warm-up services. So it's something which is creating activity of your inbox to basically convince Gmail and Outlook that you are like active and you're not just spamming people and so on. So service like warm-up inbox can help with this. And typically you want to be also warming up the template you will be using for a core outreach email. So usually those tools allow you to be uploading specific templates, would be like your recipe, and ask to have a response rate on this. So you send a signal to Gmail that you are sending these messages, and you typically have 5% response rate. So it is no spam. That's the last thing which is helping a lot nowadays in email marketing. One last thing, you want to have diversification in terms of domains. Like don't have all your core outreach from one domain. You want to have different domain, and it's always important. I mentioned you have those two parts of email marketing. You need to have separate domain for every transactional email, which are for people who already sign up, and core outreach. Because for core outreach, you have always a risk that things will go bad and your domain can be bad. So you don't want to have this impacting your transactional email. And for core outreach, you also want to have separate domain, and you preferably even want to have separate domain on different ESPs. So have a domain which is on Gmail, have a domain which is on Outlook. Knowing that you will have better deliverability if you send from Gmail to Gmail and Outlook to Outlook. So it's good to have this if you really want to be boosting your deliverability.
I love that. It's, if you're going in dangerous waters, you want to borrow a boat, don't take your own. It is interesting. One thing I wanted to ask was, you mentioned copy, being so important on, because you have, if you don't capture their attention in like the first 2 seconds that they're reading, or 3 seconds, they probably aren't going to read it and certainly are going to respond. But is it equally important to have a very effective subject line as well? Is that even sometimes even more important than the copy? The fact that they would, maybe even not even open it based on the subject line itself.
Yeah, like definitely, if you're doing email, subject line is the most important part of the copy because it's the first filter. Typically for outreach, if you have a very good copy, you might have a 25% open rate. So you need to really optimize your copy as much as possible. That's actually something at which ChatGPT is perfect, that you can just have your first version of copy asking for terms of copy. Like there is usually a recommendation to consider at least 10-15 different objects before picking the right one. And ChatGPT provides you just say, okay, this is my current copy, give me an alternative, iterate on this, and then just pick the one, and usually A/B test to check which one is performing better.
Is there, in your experience, is there a kind of a generic subject line format that is always, it's like, what's the best lure that you use when you fish? You've got that one lure that always works. So is there is it a reference, like, reference colon subject? Does that work better? Does it, I've seen people like connect them and me, in the subject line, like we had a prearranged meeting of some kind. I mean,
like I don't think there is like a silver bullet really when it comes to this. So typically I don't like to use return because if somebody is using Gmail, they will see the first message. Like, most people know they are using this mobile app, and you say straight away how many email was in the thread.
Yep.
So having the road, it doesn't work. One thing which tend to work quite well, like it's connected to targeting based on job posting, basically. And it's to use like the name of the job posting and outreach, because you will typically, when you target people hiring for something specific, you'll be targeting the hiring manager, and mentioning back the job posting is a good way to be opening, get the email open, but you need then to be careful that you explain in first sentence that you're not applying, but because you're applying,
it's not bait and switch. That's right.
Yeah,
I love it. Oh, then this is so good. I appreciate you taking the time just to kind of walk us through the cold outreach, the email marketing, the growth hacking, and utilizing Quora as an effective, platform, for outreach. But I'd like to shift right now to our rapid fire. And if you've seen any of our other interviews, we end with these crazy questions. You're thinking, what in the world are they asking? But there is a method to our madness here. So I'm going to ask you very quick questions and just give me very short answers. First thing that comes to mind. Did you get along with your parents growing up?
No.
Okay. Things have gotten better since then. Yeah. What about siblings? Do you have siblings?
Yeah, with my brother, yes. With my sister, no.
Okay. All right. Do you have any pets currently?
Not anymore. I had a cat for a long time.
And children?
Nope.
What time do you wake up in the morning on a work day normally?
Usually 8.
And what time do you go to bed?
Like 11 midnight.
So yeah, you're more of a night owl.
Yeah.
Tell me, is there an intersection in any way of faith and work?
Like, what's the first word?
Faith. Like
faith. No, I'm not a believer at all. Like, I'm a really pragmatic person and really materialist. So for me, no.
And if you were king for one day, if you were king, what is one thing you would change about the marketing world?
It would be nice to get rid of black boxes, because that's the issue we have nowadays. Like, you have so many black box system, like being like LinkedIn algorithm for distributing your content, being the Google search, which is changing every day. Like, it would be really nice to have those black boxes documented about how they work, or to not have company which have such a monopolistic position. Like,
for
Google
sure. Yeah, that should be the number one answer for everybody right there, is to do away with monopolies. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Well, Fabian, thank you so much today for just taking time to chat with us. It's been a real pleasure, and you made me laugh a lot with your answers, and just I love the creative approach that you've taken to email marketing. I think you spent all my budget on all these fancy tools that you use. So I think I'm no longer growth hacking, because now I've got a high marketing budget, that you're going to require. But you certainly know your business, and you certainly have a really unique experience in this whole growth hacking space. And I can see why people would want to reach out to you for consultative services. But just thank you again for just sharing your expertise and sharing your story, and really just helping marketing agencies grow and scale their company. Fabian, have a great day, buddy. Thank you.
Welcome. Have a great day too. Ciao.
Thank you for tuning in to another great episode of the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, where we provide the information you need from successful leading marketers to build and grow your digital marketing agency. To learn more, go to umbrellaus.com.